Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. And this is a game between Stork, who's going to be the purple Protoss in the kind of right side of the map. And this is a game against Killer, who's a Zerg player down here at the bottom middle of the map. And if you guys aren't familiar with Killer, he is a very strong Zerg, or he was a very strong Zerg. I'm thinking in terms of, gotta turn that off. In terms of, back in the day, this is from the same replay pack that I got the Jaedong game from. So this is supposedly a game that Jaedong observed. And so, or maybe it was just somehow in that replay pack somehow. But regardless, should be from about the same area. So 2010, 2012 is what I'm thinking is what it is. So Stork, very, very strong player at that point in time, of course. Well, always a strong player. Even to this day, he's a kind of a player coach right now. So he's not quite on the tippy top of his game, but he's still very strong. And so Killer is one of these players that never quite got tournament success. He was not quite the kind of player that actually, was ever in contention to win anything outright. But he was the kind of player that was solid in the Pro League matches, for example, and he was someone who, was a high enough level that he could take games off of and be someone that was a concern to even a player like Stork, even the highest level players like Stork. So hopefully we'll see a competitive match here, and I think it's going to be pretty high level play regardless. Stork going ahead and stealing some minerals over here, and this is interesting. So he's got this scouted early, which is very important. He's able to see this early spawning pool, and so we're going to see Stork have to make a forge, and he's probably going to make a cannon first as well, because if he'd gone in here and he'd seen a second hatchery, we might have actually even seen Stork make a nexus first or something on those lines. But he sees the spawning point. He says, okay, if I don't make a cannon quickly, I'm going to get overrun. So he's going to go ahead and do that. And Stork actually doing a good job of harassing, stopping this second base from going down. And looks like he's actually... Killer is sending out a drone to possibly take a third base up here, or maybe a second base up there, since he can't build a hatchery here in his natural expansion. He wants to take an expansion somewhere farther away. But Stork actually does cancel the pylon, and so the hatchery can go down. And so that's interesting. And it might be he's saying, okay, well, I'm going to cancel the pylon because I'm probably not going to stop this hatchery from going down, because the Zerglings are going to pop out and they're going to kill that pylon anyway, so I might as well cancel it and get some of the minerals back. Instead, he's going ahead and using this probe to stop this third base from going down, and just being kind of annoying over here at the side of this map. Zerglings are actually not running towards Stork's main. They're running up here to try and stop that from happening. But it looks like the drone actually won the battle. Yeah, the probe, there's no probe anywhere to see it, so it looks like the drone actually killed off that probe and was able to plant down his third base. So Killer being very smart here. He's made several Zerglings off that early spawning pool, and now he's pushing out onto the map and just trying to apply a little bit of pressure. Stork has 2 cannons up, so I think he's going to be fine. He probably needs to worry about blocking this spot. And okay, he's trying to send out another scouting probe. He's going to get cornered by the Zerglings, and maybe he's just trying to bait those Zerglings into the cannons. I don't know, but he really wants to get a scout out right now and try and get it around those Zerglings, and he can't quite get it out of his base, because right now he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know if this base was made or if he never made it at all. And right now, Killer could have made a Hydralisk den, and it could be, amassing Hydralisks here in order to go for a break. And it looks like Stork is not able to get that probe out and get a full scout on. He did get it kind of out a little bit of ways, and so he knows there's no Hydralisk like right here or maybe right here. But he still could be worried about it a little bit. It'd be a little bit all in though, so he's probably not expecting it. So he's got a beautiful little wall here with the Zealot in the gap of his SimCity. So this is actually a very relatively small investment to make this expansion basically indestructible against a significant group of Zerglings without the Hydralisk to back it up. In the meantime, Killer has just gone for his economy. He says, okay, well, I've got you trapped in your base right now. I'm just going to go ahead and get drones, just building up his drone count at this point, and it's going to do fine. But now Stork has built up the 2 Zealots, and he's actually not going to just chill in his base. He's going to push out on the map. He's forcing Killer to make defenses or make units at this point. And we see that response is actually is not making anything right now. Okay, Spire going down, so he's just going to try and dance around with these 6 Zerglings. And here we go, Zerglings versus Zealots. The Zealot's almost dead, and he actually pulls that Zealot back, goes around, takes an extra attack, and marches it back around. This one Zergling chasing the injured Zealot. The injured Zealot does not go down. Beautiful, beautiful micro by Stork, and that is, I mean, that is programmer micro for you. Like, that is the kind of thing that someone like Stork can pull off while also macroing, while also getting his tech going as well. And that's just beautiful to see, because even though it's a very simple play, you know, the grand scheme of things, just microing your Zealot around, like, that's something I could do if I was only, if it was like just 2 Zealots versus 6 Zerglings. But the fact that Stork can do that while he's doing all this other play is just the mark of a high-level gamer like him. Anyway, so he does actually escape with 1 Zealot. The 1 Zealot did go down that was injured, but he takes out 5 Zerglings for 1 Zealot. It's a pretty good trade. Killer starting to get his SimCity built up right now. Looks like he's building extra hatcheries over here, so he's got 5 hatcheries. He's going to have 5 hatcheries very soon. He does have his Spire almost complete. Let's go ahead and check to see if he has the Corsairs out. He's got... Does he have any Corsairs out yet? He does have 1 Corsair out, and it's going to go ahead and do some harassment. The Spire is almost complete, though, and so it looks like he may not even get 1 Overlord. Is he going to get 1 Overlord before the Scourge pop out? It looks like he's going to kill off 1 Overlord, and that's probably going to be it, because once these Scourge get out, and actually pushing out with a group of Zealots in the middle of the map as well, but there's more Zerglings to be dealt with here, and not even Micro can save you when you've got that much of it, when you're outnumbered that much. And, oh, the Corsairs, he's got 2 Corsairs now. The Scourge were rallied over here, and so they didn't quite get the easy attack on the Corsairs. This Corsair might die as a result of doing this, but this is important for him to check out to see what Jaedong is up to on the map and see if there's anything else going on. Actually, he's not going to try and check for a base over. He's actually just going to run through the main and see what the SimCity is like and see exactly what tech is going on. Again, looking for Hydralisks, looking for a Hydralisk den. And here come the Scourge, are probably going to intercept that Corsair. But I think it was probably a valiant and necessary effort to try and get that. Is he going to get the last Scourge hit? Probably is before he gets back there. And he's actually going to intercept with these other Scourge as well. Nicely done. The 2-pronged Scourge attack is going to shut down those Corsairs. Templar Archives is already out, by the way. So that's kind of interesting. He's actually upgrading the weapons on his Corsairs as well. So Stork trying to go for the air superiority here. I'm not seeing... Oh, 1 Scourge does die, but he's getting... Again, if you can sacrifice a cheap air unit like that to get a solid scout in, it's probably fine. He's got 2 Corsairs out now, so not anywhere near critical mass. But again, Stork pushing out with a handful of Zealots. I don't think he's made a lot more Zerglings at this point, but he has made Sunken Colonies. It looks like the Sunken Colonies, he's got 2 Sunken Colonies building at each of his defensive points, and it looks like he's probably going to be able to get those Sunken Colonies up in time. Yes, he is. All he's going to need to do is just block with the units here, and here come the Zealots. And whoa! Actually, the Zealots just walk right through the gap. The Zerglings were not in the best spot to block them either. If they'd been in this gap and they'd stopped them from walking through, it could have been huge. But it looks like the drones are going to have to be pulled in order to try and deal with this situation. But the Zealots are actually far enough away from the Sunken Colonies that they're not able to be attacked, and they're just getting free hits on these drones. Drones are not what you want to be fighting Zealots with, and he's going to lose several drones in the process. 2 Zealots also get in. They're almost dead, and so they're going to die to those Zerglings very quickly. But they even get another drone kill before these Zerglings polish them off. So a nice attack by Stork, and it looks like Stork's trying to get this extra base up at the bottom right, by the way, which is very, very defensible once you can establish it, but he hasn't established it yet, and these Zerglings are going to come in here. They're going to force the probe away. Are they going to force a cancel on this Nexus? It looks like probably they are, and Archon is going to be able to deal with all these Zerglings by itself. It's a big boy now, and can do anything it wants by itself, and it's going to be able to deal with those Zerglings very easily. And the Zerglings just run away. But he's going to have to bring in another probe to try and build this base. So a little bit of a delay on this 3rd base for Stork. But I don't think he's going to be too worried about that. He doesn't lose too much. He didn't lose the Nexus outright or anything along those lines. So Big Boy Archon and these 2 Zealots on the ramp are going to be able to do just fine against a lot of Zerglings. And, you know, that's just basically a key thing that you want to do in general in StarCraft, is you want to use as little investment as possible to maintain a position, right? And so if you can get a couple cannons right here for example, behind these 2 zealots, it's a very small investment in order to be able to defend against a lot of Zerglings. Hydralists, on the other hand, not necessarily. Mutalisks, of course, not. But he doesn't seem to be getting either of those things. So let's see. We got a Queen Nest going down. Sunken, and he's probably a Spore in his main base. Again, he's just worried about drops right now. Oh, is he going to lose some? Oh, wow. He loses couple Corsairs for free, just not expecting that, I guess. And he did actually do the right move, which was just to stop move those Corsairs in order to try and kill off the Scourge before they could get to him, because he does have, I believe, +1 weapons at this point. Yeah, +1 weapons, +1 neutron flares, and so he has basically enough Corsairs right now that if Scourge just attack him in a line, he can kill them off before they get to him. So but losing a couple Corsairs is critical, because now he still is kind of within danger. He's not quite at that point where we saw with that game against with Jaedong versus Cal, where he just had so many Corsairs it was too much to deal with. But he's going to try and do it. He's built up a large group of Scourge and Mutalisks as well, so he's going to go in with the Mutalisks. Killer is trying to attack here into the main base. And have I been calling him Jaedong his whole time? I don't know if I have. I think I've just been... I think I might have been calling him Jaedong, in which case I completely apologize. This is Killer. This is not Jaedong. Here he comes in. He's attacking the Corsairs. The Corsairs are distracted attacking the Mutalisks, and so they don't quite kill off all of the Scourge, and he loses some of the Corsairs, but he critically does have enough Corsairs left that he can kind of maintain a little bit of advantage. Have I been saying? I don't even know. I actually don't even know if I've been saying Jaedong this whole time, actually. I'm just like, or maybe I'm just like tripping, and now I've just like embarrassed myself by claiming that I was making a mistake even though I wasn't. Anyway, this is Killer. This is not Jaedong, and Killer is losing a lot of units in his main base here. It's a nice Sim City going on here. Mutalisks are pulling back here, but this drop is doing a ton of damage. He just doesn't quite have the units to deal with this. He needs Hydralisk to deal with something like this Archon, and that was really, really weird how that Archon got kind of caught up there. Very, very strange situation where the Archon was warping through the Evo chamber. That was a little bit strange. So anyway, all right. Well, I hope you guys forgive me for being a little bit off my game today. I actually slept well last night, but I slept too well. I've been having problems with insomnia, so I had to take like a sleeping pill to make sure I slept well last night, trying to fix my sleep schedule. Because I feel like crap if I just sleep at the wrong times. And so I'm actually really groggy right now. Like, I'm actually feeling really, really groggy. Like, I could probably fall asleep right now, but I'm kind of forcing myself to stay up. I'm forcing myself to use the adrenaline of high-level StarCraft in order to keep myself awake so that I can try and get my sleep schedule back on track. Stork is mounting a significant force outside of Killer's natural expansion here, and he's going to go in for an attack. And again, that gap is still there. He can still run the Zealots right by unless the Zerglings are able to get in that gap this time, and that's exactly what he's able to do. Four Sunken Colonies is a very significant force as well. These Zerglings are kind of dancing around outside, but they're not going to be able to do too much. Again, just these 2 Zealots blocking the gap with a couple cannons are going to be more than enough to block that attack, especially since he has these reinforcements out on the map. Killer with the lurkers now in play. Now here's the thing, Stork has 3 bases, so a very significant situation for him. He's moving out on the map, and actually this is huge. He's got so many lurkers. Wow, that is a ton of lurkers. 8 lurkers. That is significant, and everyone knows that lurkers weigh 300 pounds each, so that's why he has a ton of them with only 8 of them. But 8 lurkers is going to be more than enough to deal with these Zealots, even though he doesn't have Dark Swarm or anything like that. And he's actually trying to push in here. The Zealots are not on the ramp. They're kind of missed their opportunity to block that ramp, but the Reavers are there, and that is going to be more than enough to deal with this situation. He's getting kind of a little bit surrounded, though. Stork is not quite able to push over here because he doesn't quite have the resources to deal with these lurkers. He's actually, whoa, the lurkers are trying to escape, and he's going to lose a couple lurkers. I think it might have been, well, he doesn't want to lose those lurkers. Those lurkers are very, very expensive, but defending against them in this spot might have been the better situation. He doesn't have any Dragoons. Just this one Archon is all he really has that's going to be significant to deal with the lurkers, but even the Archon is not that great of a defense against the lurkers. And they had a nice defensible spot here. I guess he was just a little bit worried because, you know, the Reaver on the high ground was going to be able to slowly pick them off. Stork just kind of dancing around the map here with oh, he loses one Lurker. Sorry, loses one Reaver. Whoa, and actually, did you see that? The Scarab chased those Hydralisks all the way back to the Lurkers, so now he's got 2 injured Lurkers, and that is not a good situation. That was actually a really, really bad Scarab. He loses not just the units on the ground, but also takes damage on those Lurkers. Anyway, Killer knows better than I do, and he knew that he needed to kind of save these Lurkers, even though they were in a nice defensible position. And what I wasn't thinking of was the Observer there. So look at this. Killer has this top, sort of top leftish base as well now. He's got beautiful SimCity to protect this base and this base. So, and he's getting this bottom left base as well. This is not looking good for Stork at all. He's trying to get a base up at this other location in the top right. But I think even if he gets 4 bases on the map, it's not going to be good for him. Oh, can he kill off that Defiler? Looks like he's not going to go for an engagement. Oh, he's going to storm the Defiler. Oh, big Plague gets a lot of the Zealots. That is actually a lot of damage done. Look at all the red Zealots. That is disgusting. Oh, and he gets a Plague on all the Corsairs as well. That is actually huge. He hits every single Corsair with a beautiful, beautiful Plague. He does have 9 of them, so again, Scourge are not going to be able to quite do as much damage there, but the Hydralisks are going to be able to destroy those Corsairs. And if he can take out those Corsairs, this will not be a possibility. You can look at this. He's got enough Corsairs. He's able to do significant damage to these Overlord count, just trying to supply lock him. In the meantime, Stork is running in with an attack, and this is what you need to do as the Protoss player. You cannot let the Zerg player get the entire map. He sent one single Zealot up to the top left as well to make sure that Killer can't take that base either. So he's going to take that out. So Killer kept to just 5 bases. This is a point where Stork needs to try and, if he can try and do something about this bottom left base, then he'll be in a beautiful position. A huge advantage will be in Stork's favor. Look at this. He's already got the cannons warping in. So Killer has missed his opportunity to take out this this base before it was able to get up and running as well. And Stork is just maxed. Stork is maxed right now. And Killer just does not have that much of an army, but he critically has a good army to deal with this. Stork has mixed in a lot of Dragoons, which is going to be huge. And there's the Dark Swarm going down. Storm doing a ton of damage onto those units. But critically, he does get is able to move forward. Another Plague going down on the Corsairs, which is a bit of a repeat, so it doesn't really do much good. These slow Reavers crawling across the map to join the units are going to be a huge force to deal with. Basically, right now, everything Stork has is red. Almost everything he has is red from Plagues. It's all the Dragoons are red. All the Corsairs are red as well. A lot of the Zealots are red. So this force, even though he's maxed, his army is actually a little bit flimsy right now. And this is another critical thing, is these Corsairs are not going to be able to actually have much of an impact in the fight. So being maxed is not necessarily as huge of a deal as you would think at this point. Does he have Reavers in there? He does. So he can drop out a Scarab, drop out 1 Reaver. Take an easy pot shot, kill off a lot of... Oh, nice hits there. Kills off a lot of Zerglings. Whoa, man, and actually, like I was talking about feeling groggy, like, for some reason a wave of exhaustion is hitting me right now, so I'm going to have to, like, apologize ahead of time that this is going to be hard to get through the rest of this game. Stork getting his forces a little bit surrounded, but he's doing a decent job. He's falling back and losing some of those injured Dragoons. He's coming in with a lot of Zerglings as well, and Stork being pushed back onto the map, so Killer fighting scrappy, but fighting hard, and fighting with a very significant situation here. These Lurkers are going to burrow, and Stork is kind of, I'm not sure, it feels like he should be doing more than he is right now. And actually, maybe this is why, because he's got this situation up here. He's going to try and take the 12 o'clock base that was going to be Killer's. This top left base is blocked as well. So Killer just basically stuck on his 5 bases right now, but he's doing a good job of fighting scrappy and keeping Stork at bay with just small forces of units. It just kind of, it keeps feeling like Stork should have more units than he does, and Killer is just able to force him back over and over again, despite having what looks like smaller forces of Zerg units, and despite the fact that Stork has had these AoE attacks like with the Reavers and the High Templar to stop that from happening. And then he's trying to stop this base from happening up in the top middle. Just a single Reaver there as AoE to defend. He just gets one scare buff, so I think this top middle base is going to go down to this group of Hydralisks. Stork coming in with the reinforcements, so he's going to be able to kill off those Hydras, but I think he needs to target fire down that Nexus, kill the probe, kill the Nexus, and then stop that base from happening. Instead, he's going to fall back to the top left here, just trying to do as much damage as he can, keep those Hydras alive. But actually, it's Stork falling back here. I'm not sure why. We're not seeing any kind of counterattack or anything like that, but he, well, never mind. He just kind of figured, okay, well, that's taken care of. I thought the Hydralisks were going to be more of a problem for him, but +3 weapons, 16 + 6 is a significant amount of attack power there. The Zerglings do have +2 carapace, so you know the Hydralisks are going to be able to fight a little bit scrappy against that. And here he goes in. He's actually attacking into the main base. Ooh, a plague goes down on the Reaver and the shuttles, but he needs to get a Dark Swarm down. Although Dark Swarm actually will not do any good against the Scarab shots. And does he lose the shuttle? The Reavers? No, he gets the Reavers back, gets the shuttles back. So again, just kind of posturing out front here. Stork continuing to try and defend this top middle base. This game is too much for me right now, with the exhaustion kind of rolling around in my head at this point, and so many attacks going on around all over the map in different places. Looks like he's going to try and take out the Zealot that's up here at the top left, so that he can take that top left base. So again, just to kind of stop and pause and take count of what happened. It looked like, and actually a little bit of a skirmish going on in the middle of the map. Ooh, loses some Defilers. Loses a couple Defilers, it looks like. That is not a good situation at all for Killer, actually. And these Lurkers out in the front of the map are just kind of getting some free damage down. He needs to take care of that. They're completely undefended, so it's going to be easy to take care of those Lurkers. But in the meantime, he's just kind of taking free damage as a result. A little bit sloppy by Stork, but now he's got the Observer overhead. Now he's coming in with these units. There's no Defiler at this point to deal with this, so there's not going to be a Dark Swarm on top of those, which would have been a significant defense. Oh, a huge storm doing a lot of damage to those Hydralisks, and as a result, he's forced to fall back, losing those Lurkers. Stork regains control of his choke point, his rally point right outside of his main base here. Stork has now secured this base as well. These Reavers might want to kind of get back in the supply line behind those cannons. It might be a better place to be. But basically, Stork has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases right now. His main base is mined out, so that doesn't quite count exactly, but it's not a good situation for Killer, basically, because Killer also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is starting to get this 6th base up, but it's not up and running yet. And Stork, in fact, Wakatlax, okay, interesting. And probably that was him trying to write something in Korean, but he had the English keyboard or something like that. And oh no, this could be a slaughter. These Hydralisks are clumped up, but he do have 2 Defilers. He needs to get the swarm down. He needs to get a swarm down. He needs to get a swarm on his... it doesn't get the swarm down, so he's going to lose this base, going to lose that clump of Hydralisks. But he does get a plague off at least. The swarm wouldn't have necessarily helped him entirely, actually, especially if those Archons were able to get underneath the swarm, but it could have bided him some time, and it could have maybe been able to kill off some Dragoons. But there's a group of Ultralisks on the map now, though, and Ultralisks laugh in the face of storms, and they chuckle at Reavers, and are able to do significant damage. They're just so beefy, and oh no, Stork is going to lose a lot of units potentially over here. Storm's going down, but he gets a huge surround. Oh my god, a huge surround on all these Archons. Just massive, massive damage. Stork losing a bunch of expensive units. He's got nice SimCity over here with the Reavers behind the gateways, and that is just a complete wall off. There's not even a gap. I mean, there may be a gap big enough for Zerglings to fit through, but the cannons are going to be able to deal with those Zerglings. And oh, but this is the this is the counter to that, is the drops. He's going to just go right over the wall and right into this base, and the Ultras are going to get in amongst those cannons and be able to destroy them very easily. The Reavers are just tickling those, just tickling the Ultras, but there's so many of them. Jesus Christ. So many Ultralisks are just going to be able to destroy this base. And right as the probes... Oh no, probes. Oh, probes. That was not the right time to be there. He's got a few Archons out on the map as well. Dropping some Reavers in the mix as well to try and deal with them. And, you know, if he had a nice death ball, he would be able to deal with this. But Song Byung-kyu Stork is just in not a good situation at all. Now, critically, one of his bases is this base here, which is easy to defend. Another one of his bases is easy to defend down here. But, oh, did he already mined that base out? There must have been low minerals on those side bases, actually. I'm not super familiar with this map. So, Killer now has turned the tide and now has the advantage. And I'm not sure what happened. Does he still have those Corsairs? It looks like he may have lost those Corsairs at some point as well. Stork is just trying to kind of scrape by. He's mined out all of his bases. What? I didn't even realize. Okay, there's the Corsair. So this is what he did before, is trying to supply block Killer. Yeah, Killer's going to go in and just clean up that base now that he's killed off all those Archons. So Stork is actually in trouble at this point. At one point, Stork was maxed and he had control of the entire map, but Killer just said, you know what? I've gotten Hive Tech and I've gotten enough forces up that I can get enough Ultralists. There's just no way. There's no way he can kill me. And what is going on here? He's like, I would like to make a donation to the charity of Stork winning the game. And I'm going to go ahead and donate a handful of drones. Oh, changed my mind. I'm going to withdraw. But this is going to get cleaned up pretty easily. So Stork is just now having to play scrappy. He's got these, look at, Killer's actually supply blocked. He's still at 140 out of 120, 139 out of 129. And Stork can continue to try and supply block him there because I don't think there's anything he can do about those Corsairs at this point unless the Corsairs are dumb enough to engage with the Hydralisks. But he doesn't have air superiority, so those Corsairs are still able to maintain. Oh, and a beautiful storm on those drones that were running across the map. Is he distance mining? What is even going on here? I don't think he needs to be distance mining. I'm not sure why he's sending his drones across the map when he has two bases that are up and running that he could just be oversaturating those mineral patches. Instead, he's sending them up to this top middle base. Not sure exactly what's going on there. But Stork having to fight Scrappy continually. It's going to lose these Templar, and it's just, I mean, I just want to bring it back to the fact that Stork had a good significant army. He had this group of Archons and Zealots. I'm sorry, Archons and Dragoons, and that was a huge army. But they got surrounded by that giant Hive Tech, just obliterating force, just massive force of Ultralisks, and he wasn't able to. Oh, he gets another plague on. They're already plagued, bro. You don't have to plague them anymore. But yeah, he couldn't quite get a clump. Now imagine those Archons and Dragoons were fighting in a clump on this bridge instead. Instead, they were completely spaced out over this whole area, and he was able to get a huge surround with Zerglings and Ultras and demolish that army. That one is an expensive army, and I feel like Stork just hasn't been able to rebuild since then. Also, imagine if he had maybe some Zealots or he had those Reavers with that army and was able to do more damage. That would have been a huge deal also. Instead, oh no, oh, these Reavers slow marching across the map are going to die. He needs to kind of have those in a defensive position. Well, never mind. He's actually just gonna win. Actually, never mind. I thought those Ultras were a beefier situation than they actually were. Scourge out on the map right now, trying to hunt for those Corsairs, and actually hunting for a shuttle. Catching the shuttle off guard is a really big deal, because now those Reavers are going to have to slow walk wherever they go. And Stork is going to try and take out this top left base, or top middle-ish base on the left. On the middle side of top left. And it looks like he is going to be able to kill that off because there's no defenses up here. Well, maybe not actually, because a group of Hydralisks are moving across the map. They do have a Defiler there. Storm goes down. He's able to pull out of the storm, but not before he loses half of his Hydralisks. Gets another plague down on some Archons. Plagued Archons are just funny. 3 out of 10 hit points, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Ultras, though, back in play, and that is what he needed more of. He's been able to build up enough money to replace the Ultras that died earlier, and the Ultras are going to be able to get close enough to deal with that. But he's just, yeah, the Archons are still in play. Is he going to be able to kill off this base is one of the questions, though. He might want to target fire the hatchery. It doesn't matter. I guess he kills off that drone. The Archon survives a while. The Archon survives long enough to hold off the Ultralisks. And the Ultralisks are just going to let the Zealot kill the base. So that works, actually. I was going to say, like, is the Archon sacrifice going to be enough that this Zealot is going to have enough time to take out that base? But it doesn't matter because he just abandoned that base. He's going to go ahead and stick with this base and just make that his only mining new base. Killer, again, has map control, though. He's got, and is he going to go in for an attack? I think this might be a little bit foolish of Killer to throw away these forces trying to go for the killing blow. He doesn't need to do this, and this is too well defended. He can just put some units in that gap and stop everything from mining, but actually the Hydralisks are there, are able to take out the cannons, and that is actually a big deal. If he'd taken out that second cannon, then that would have been the deciding factor. I was kind of thinking he'd be able to kill off those Hydralisks very quickly, but he didn't kill them off. I guess he didn't have really the forces to do that. He stormed the Ultralisks instead. Oh my goodness. This is a long game, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize that my energy is really flagging here. But we're going to get through this. We're going to power through, and we're going to see to the end of this game one way or another. I'm going to grab a drink of water. That's how tired I am. I just almost spilled water on my computer. Oh boy. Stork is trying to claw his way back into this game. I'm not sure exactly how he can do that though. He's still mining up at this base right here. He's got it pretty well defended. He's able to get a scrappy army out on the map to try and deal with this. Oh no, but he's about to get destroyed again. Oh, there's these 3 Archons are the core of his army, and there's just not enough to deal with these Ultras. He's falling back. He's got a nice little defensive choke point here. He can kind of put the Zealots in front and fire over the top. Maybe, but where is he going? Maybe if he can fall back to the top right base, he can just, keep that army alive, but instead he's going to try and split. The Archons are going to go one way, the Zealots are going to go another way. The Zealots are able to kind of just run around the map and just distract. But I think Killer might be running away with this one. Killer has the top left base. He's got this bottom left base, and he's secured the top middle area. It looks like he might be thinking about putting another hatchery there. But again, he's going in for the kill. I don't know if this is advisable again, but actually it is advisable because Stork has no AoE units. There's no Reavers. There's no Storms. And there is a lot of Ultralisks, ladies and gentlemen. And that is just going to probably be the GG finally, because Stork has been doing a brilliant job of just having scrappy armies to defend. But is he going to be able to get a Storm from the high ground? Does he have enough energy for a Storm? He's just got enough energy for the Storms in those new High Templar. Is he going to be able to storm those lurkers? He gets one storm off. Can he defend this ramp? Can he defend his main base? If he does, it might be okay. Losing this natural expansion isn't that big of a deal if he can defend his main base, but their Ultras are now getting up the ramp, and they are now in the main, and there's nothing that Stork can do. I think this is going to be GG here pretty soon, because once the Ultras are in your main, that's when you got to think about tapping out, because yeah, there's nothing he can do right here. The Lurker is in his main base as well, so any units that pop out of those gateways are going to be killed immediately. Stork only has this top right base, but it's just not going to be enough. The bottom right base is not mining at all. It's mining a little gas, obviously, but there's no minerals there. Just a handful of minerals left in this top right base. And he's going to lose all his production buildings again, like we saw with the last game with Jaedong. Once Jaedong took out all the production buildings, there was nothing Cal could do, and we're going to see that same situation here, that Stork has been able to get these small armies up and running, but there's the GG. Stork leaves the game, and Killer, like I said, Killer is not someone that you can underestimate, ladies and gentlemen. Killer is a top-level player. Not tippy-top level player, but a top-level player, and someone that can take out even a good player like Stork. So very, very well done on his part. And yeah, that's going to be the game. GG. Well played by Killer. And wow, I am so like tired right now. I was feeling groggy anyway when this started, but I was just like halfway through the game, I just got hit with this wave of exhaustion. I pushed through it. We made it to the end of the game, but I apologize if I was kind of off today and like not seeing things or not catching what was going on or rambling in circles. I guess that's part of what casting in is rambling in circles, but I don't know. Anyway, my apologies. But anyway, I wanted to mention one other thing. That's all for the StarCraft for this video, but if you want to support me, stick around for a minute, because I want to ask a question basically, which is, this is something I've been thinking about. I mentioned this when I first started getting back into casting a couple months ago, that, you know, I said, you know, if you want to send me a donation, you can, but it's not a big deal. But since then, a number of people have asked me to put up like a Patreon or something along those lines, and I've kind of resisted, but you know, if people really want to support me, I don't want to stand in their way, I guess, because I could use the support. So I just wanted to kind of ask what you guys' opinions and thoughts on that are. as far as a Patreon-like thing. I probably won't use actually Patreon because Patreon itself is really very sus and has had a lot of problems with its reputation for being, I guess, a platform that has caused problems for people, and the fees are really high and that kind of thing. So I won't use Patreon, but just, some Patreon-esque thing is what I'm thinking about. And so basically I just kind of want to find out if people are actually interested. I'll just be real with you. If it's just going to be like 1 or 2 people that are going to be on the Patreon, then it probably won't actually be worth the fees. And so I just want to get a sense of like how many people will be interested. And there's no obligation or anything like that, but I'm going to put up a poll, and you can leave a comment if you want to, but if you want to be like anonymous, I'll put up a poll and just let me know kind of what you think about that possibility. Because if it's going to be enough people that it'll help me, then I might put it up if people really want to help. But again, and this is all, I encourage people to, give to political causes that you believe in first, give to causes for people that are suffering in the world first. But then if you also, on top of that, have, the spare money that you want to support me, I would appreciate it. So I'm just kind of thinking about if that's a possible avenue, because I mentioned a couple months ago, I was like, I'm doing fine. But right now, the unemployment benefits in America that I've been using to kind of get by while I'm unemployed are being cut, and they may actually run out in a month or 2 as well. And so I'm kind of thinking about like, okay, well, what's my next step as far as how am I going to like figure out what I'm going to be doing, because my career path in education is basically not viable for like a year. Like, it's going to be a year and a half before any jobs open up that I can get. So I'm kind of thinking like, okay, well, what can I do in the meantime? Like, I think I'll be okay long term, but I want to figure out something I can do in the meantime that will kind of help me get by. And if I can get a little bit of a following on YouTube or what have you, that will kind of help me keep going, then that might be a way to make it happen and make it work for myself. So, and then, if I was doing that, then I would be able to kind of feel like I can put more time into it and be able to put out more content too, because if I end up like having to get a temp job or something like that, it'll cut down on my time to do this stuff. So anyway, I am just rambling now, but again, the point is, I'm not in this for the money, obviously. I've done this for years for free. And so if it'll bother anyone at all to have that be a thing that I have Patreon, like whatever, then please tell me. Like, I don't want to, I'm still going to keep doing this, even if no one wants to give me any money. Don't worry about it. Like, that's not the point of this. But if people do want to support me, then I would appreciate it. So I just want to see what people's thoughts are on that. So I'll put up a poll, and basically there's kind of 4 options, which is, one is keep it how it is now, where I've got a donate link through PayPal if people want to give me money occasionally. Another one would be to put up a Patreon type service. And then the third one would be, I don't know if it matters, but a lot of times people do Patreons, and then the part of the point of the service is that people that are subscribers on there get like early access to content, or they get special content or something like that. So if that's something that interests people, let me know. And then the other option is, if you just really think it's annoying and you don't want to hear about it, please tell me that too, because if that's the majority opinion, then I won't bother. I won't worry about it. So anyway, all right. This has now become a very long video, because this replay is telling me it's been a 33-minute replay, and I've been rambling at the end of it. So if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. You just spent, I think, 40 minutes of your time watching StarCraft. All right. That's going to do it for me then. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And thanks for listening to my extra ramble at the end. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.